Ciao everybody, my name is Joey. Welcome to my channel. I'm so excited to share this bead box with you today. And some of you who have been here before, you know that when you see this little reusable storage container and this pretty little label, that this is my next collaboration box with Didi Beads. This is the August 2025 collaboration and it is amazing. If I do say so myself, our boxes are always amazing, but this one is really special for a few reasons. So your collection will come in this because we love to keep ourselves organized and have good storage. So this is a little gift that we put our box in, but look at the collection. It's called Garden Party this month and it is absolutely stunning and it's special. I think the number one reason why it's special is this bead right here. This bead was handmade by a bead artist named Vicki Mundy. She is a friend of mine and she was commissioned to do one of these handmade beads, a little birdhouse, and it's, you know, there's one in every box. And I have to update you on her. She had an accident and broke her arm like days after she finished making all the beads for our box, and she is having a really rough time. And she said to me, Joey, I'm so glad I finished those beads before I had this accident because I won't be making beads for a while. So this was already precious, but now it's even more precious. And I just have to say a couple of things before I move on. She did this beautiful wood grain in this bead. It is all hand painted. She put a little flower and leaf where the bird would go in the, you know, below where like the bird would perch. And it is beautiful front and back. It's very dimensional. She asked me how I wanted the hole drilled and I asked for it to go straight up and down. And it's just really, it's amazing work. It's amazing, full stop. But before commissioning Vicki and kind of telling her what I wanted, and she was so kind with me to let me put my nose in on the design and say what color I wanted the flower and all of that. I like kind of told her what I was looking for and sent her some pictures of some things that I had seen in the marketplace that were too expensive for anybody. Like the little birdhouse beads are pretty hard to find. And the ones that I found were in the $12 to $25 range. And so I really wanted to do a design with a birdhouse. And look what Vicki did for us. I mean, brava, brava, Vicki. If I could hug you, I would. So that is the very, very, very special thing in our box. I mean, I don't want to put it down. I mean, it's just absolutely wonderful. But there is more. So I asked Stella if we could put one of my favorite check glass birds in the box. So everybody's getting one of these beautiful check glass birds in a turquoise green, and it has a gold wash. And I just love these. They're sort of rustic, a little bit rustic, but the gold wash just makes you see all the detail, the bird's eyes, his wings, everything. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And then Stella found these and she asked me if I liked them, and I do. Who wouldn't like these? These are the coolest, most unusual things. These are, you're getting 32 pieces of 10 millimeter opaque lavender orange, pink, and hot pink metal flower beads. Get one of each color. So we wanted this box to be like if you had a tea in the garden, or if you had friends playing croquet in your garden. We wanted it to be like all the colors and things that you would see, all the different flower colors and birds and a birdhouse, and, you know, just colorful and joyful and like lovely time with nature. So we started out thinking we should pick a color of the flower, but we like these so much. They're quite heavy because they're metal and they have a fairly large hole. So if you like to do Brazilian waxed cord, or I think even, I didn't try it, but I think 1 millimeter leather would even go through here. And like the weight of these and just the joyful, happy, they're just beautiful, beautiful and unusual. Like I have never seen these. And that is Stella's forte. She surprises me every time we do a project together, finding something in beads that I haven't seen before. So I just love that. And then she found these as a surprise for me because I love lampwork beads. I just love them. My friends that I hang out with, they know that if I ever become a very wealthy woman, I'm going to buy enough lampwork beads to fill my garden tub and I'm going to go sit in there with a glass of wine. So that's my joke with my friends. But these are so cool. These are textured lavender lampwork lentil beads, in the lentil coin beads, and they have this diamond grid bumpy texture on them, and they have a really pretty hole. They kind of have that shape of the golem beads, if you guys are familiar with that, which are so fun to work with. These are fun to lay wire on and like design with them. And I think these are going to be like a whole bracelet just out of these. I haven't really gotten that far because when I'm done unboxing, we're going to make a bracelet with this birdhouse, and I'm really excited about it. But these are 20 millimeter and they're just amazing. And she put 6 pieces in here. So there really is enough to do a bracelet, to do a focal on a necklace. If you like bold earrings, you could, take out 2 and do an earring with those. So they're wonderful. It was a kind of a surprise for me, and I love it. She knew I would love it, and I do love it. They're beautiful. And then this, I also love this. These are little check glass rondelles. They're 4 millimeter and they're in a matte lavender. So it's a druck rondelle. A druck is, I forget what the actual word means, but whenever you see the word druck in beads, it means that it's smooth. It means it doesn't have any table cutting or fluting or any kind of diamond cutting or mitering on it. It's just really smooth, and I just love stacking these. These are like can do all the things that seed beads can do, but they have a little bit more lovely profile. It's very unusual, like when you stack them, because they look like little donuts. So I love that we have those in our box. And then she put in some 12 millimeter emerald green and gold wash check glass leaves, and these are just absolutely gorgeous. Let me get a little piece of wire. The drill hole on these is really fun because it goes across the top like that. So if you want to use a large jump ring to just create a cluster, you can. If you want to put your wire in and draw it to the top and do a briolette wrap, you can do that. These are just really fun to play with, and they're beautiful. I love the color. I love the profile. Just really pretty to add into a garden party theme. And then there is a jewel tone bicone mix. And so that is these. Look at this beautiful deliciousness. Look how it sparkles. So all the colors that you would see in flowers, in nature, there's green and turquoise and red and pink and some clear and some yellow and orange, like every flower I think is represented in here. So this really is garden party to me. I just love it. And then she put some gold slider bird beads in here. This was like something she wanted in here. There's 4 pieces here, and they're antique gold, but they're pretty bright for being an antique gold. And they have a nice large hole. So again, if you were working with Brazilian wax cord, they would go through this. But aren't they so cute? And you'll see when you start stringing with these, they're really fun because the top part of this slider bead has like this little curve, so a bead like nestles in there really well. These are so sweet. I just love those. And then she put in some two-tone, these are gorgeous. These are crystals, but they're two-tone Aurora Azure crystal rondelles. So these are faceted. They're in the rondelle shape, and you see they're really opaque and frosted, but you'll see that there's like a couple of, there's almost like that that mermaid look here, and then it goes into a more solid blue. So together these are just beautiful. This is the kind of a bead that I love to make a ring component out of. They're just to let it be at random and make a little ring, and you just add something so wonderful to your design. That is just so cool. And I skipped over one of my favorite beads in the box. I skipped right over this one. This does absolutely look like candy, and in fact, it's a 6 millimeter mottled candy pink glass bead. This is so gorgeous. It's that sweet size, and it just that beautiful, happy, joyful color. It matches one of the flowers in the metal mix just perfectly, but it's such a gorgeous contrast to the blue and the green, and the purple. It's just beautiful. I mean, thank you, Stella, because she added that in. That was her little addition. And let me just check and make sure that I didn't skip anything. Okay, I didn't skip anything. That is our box. And as always, even when I have had a hand in curating a box, I like to go into my own stash and add in some things to personalize my design so that what I make doesn't look like the same thing that everybody else who receives the box will get it. And before I show you what I'm pulling in, I was so excited to jump into this box that I forgot to tell you guys the story on purchasing the box. So this is just now going for sale when my video started. Stella and I coordinate the open on her website, the open to buy on her website with my video airing. And she posts this on Facebook, and I post it on my post section of my channel to give you guys a heads up to mark your calendars, because this is a limited edition and our boxes sell out fast. And we will increase our quantity, and we sort of want to. She's increasing her quantities as her business grows, which is so exciting that a woman-owned small boutique business is growing like that. But we couldn't increase on this one because of the handmade bead. So, Vicki is an artist, and she, like, each one of these beads was made for each box, and it's not like she's not a machine. So in this box, it is a limited edition, mostly because of this bead. And I could just hug you, Vicki. I really could. I mean, this is amazing. This is exactly what I wanted. It's exactly what I was hoping to work with, to design with, and I just couldn't be happier about the work that she did. And like I said, letting me bug her and say, oh, I want this, oh, I want that. I mean, she was so great. So the box, everybody has a chance, because it's not like it's been for sale for a while before my video aired, and we did post everywhere so that you would know when it was going to be for sale. So if you think that you want this, do not wait, so that you're not disappointed. We don't expect it to last long. So that's the story on that. I'm going to clean up a little bit, like move some of this out of the way, and show you what I'm going to use to make my bracelet and what I'm adding in from my own stash. So just give me a second. Okay, I just put a little sampling of everything because I'm going to do a stringing project, but it's going to be a little bit unusual, and I don't exactly know what's going to go in it. And I've also decided not to choose my closure until the very end. And what I'm going to add from my own stash, I have 3 of these lavender long oval, I want to say navettes, but they're not navettes, are the marquee shaped ones, but they're long oval prong set crystals with 2 holes. So it's a 2-hole bead. And if you have any 2-hole beads from your stash, like a carrier bead that has 2 holes, really anything you like will accomplish what I want to accomplish with this. But I also, since we have the crystals in here, we kind of have a mix of glass, metal, matte, sparkle, clay, like the gold. We have a kind of a mix, and I thought, well, that's just going to add to the eclectic and just wonderful artistic quality of my piece. And then I'm going to add in some seed beads. These are 8/0 rocaille seed beads, and let me see, this is called Electric Pink. So I'm going to put some of those out here because I'll probably use a lot of seed beads in my stringing here. And then some 8/0 Miyuki gold seed beads that are Duracoat, which when I'm doing a piece that has, a special artisan bead, it's going to have crystals, it's going to be a piece that I really care about, and it's going to probably stay with me. I like to use the Duracoat. I like to spend a little bit more on my seed beads. So this is my color palette, and I'm going to be stringing on a length of my Soft Flex 49 strand pink tourmaline. It is just beautiful with, I don't know if you can see because my spool is getting kind of empty, but it is beautiful with this color palette. And so I've taken a length here, and it's way more than what a bracelet length is, and I didn't measure. I just tend to eyeball this. I know that drives some of you crazy, but I will be doubling my strand. And I'm going to start out by stringing some seed beads and some of these little, like, I'm going to make a little pattern with these rondelles, and the gold. So these 3, I'm going to make a little pattern here and just run this down to the middle of my bead stringing wire. That's how I'm going to start. Okay, that's better. So whatever is attached here, it has like this nice smooth space. My matte rondelles are a little bit bigger, so that looks great. I'm going to come on this end of this other side and put 2 more of those blue faceted beads on this side. And from here, I'm going to start stringing. As I move down the length, I'll draw my bead stringing wire together in some places. I'm just going to play with how I want to string it. I'm going to draw it together in some places and then separate it again in some places. And I did put 3 of my long 2-hole beads out here because I like to see a bead like that kind of in odd numbers. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put 2 right here, and then as I get either in the 2/3 of the way of my stringing or even to the other end, I will use the other one of these. So I'm going to play with my stringing like that, and like checking my holes, like the metal flowers accommodate the 2 strands really well. And I'm just going to go through and kind of decide where I want things. And I think I'm also going to get out some disc spacers. I'm going to add in some metal disc spacers. It's just one of my favorite things. So I'm just going to play with this stringing, and when I've worked it out, I'll come back and show you the decisions that I've made in the stringing. Okay, so on my little birdhouse, I took one of my wires and went up through the house, and then the wire that's going to be on the outside, I strung some seed beads up the back, and where it meets here, I'm putting seed beads on the top, and then I'm going to go into another bead. So like maybe I'll try this disc spacer, see how that looks, see if it draws those wires together again. Yeah, I love that. And then I'm going to see if my check glass bird, if I can fit both strands through. If not, I'll do the same thing. Both go through. That's nice. That's kind of what I wanted. So my little bird is going to be kind of sitting on the roof of his house, like Snoopy sits on the roof of his house. I love it. And then, okay. So when I came out of this purple flower, both of my strands were going through there. I can back this down so you can see, but I wanted some of those leaves to be kind of dimensional. So I separated the strands and did 1 seed bead, a leaf, 3 seed beads, and then reverse it on the second strand. 3 seed beads, a leaf, 1 seed bead. And then that's where if you have any large hole, like even a 6/0 seed bead can work. A little bit larger hole where your 2, let me get a hold of it this way, where your 2 wires are going to come together again and go up into that. And these mottled pink candy beads, they have a large enough hole that your wires aren't competing for space, if that makes sense. You'll see that when you're stringing. And then I strung both strands back through another flower. And then here's where I decided to separate the strands again and do my third 2-hole long crystal. And I've just added in some of the sparkling bicones. And so here's where I'm going to finish my stringing by making another little small seed bead and crystal loop, and then I'll decide where I'm going to attach extender chain and clasp on those 2 loops. And I'm going to crimp this maybe in a little bit of an unusual way. I'm going to take one of my Softflex Company number 2 gold filled crimp tubes and my magical crimping plier, and I'll show you how I'm going to do it. But in order to make this loop stay open, I'm not going to put both of the ends up through the tube. I'm going to crisscross them in the tube. I'll show you, but I just need to create a little bit more of a pattern right here, and I think I want to get some 2 of these pink crystals. And I'm telling you, Stella does such an amazing job. Even her quantities in our box are so generous that I have 1 bracelet done, but I basically have the whole box left. So there is a lot of jewelry in here. I was just so excited about this handmade bead, and this is my favorite little check glass bird. So I was really excited about that, but it's just such a great box. I feel like I haven't even used any of the beads in it, and it's just beautiful. So I'm just creating another little pattern here, and I don't want to get my length too long, but I did kind of want a couple more of my matte purples in here. Okay, I really do want to put at least a 3-link extender chain on this bracelet, and as of right now it fits me perfectly with a clasp on it, but I really want it to be adjustable, and I wanted that extender chain so that I could have another spot to do some charms. So I need to just rethink this part of my pattern here, but when I do get it finished, this is what I'm going to do, is end up like this with my crimp tube just on one side, and I'm going to crisscross the wires through the tube and crimp it that way. I'll come back and show you, but I just need to back this down and kind of get my length a little bit shorter. So I'm going to play with what I've done here to shorten my length a little bit. I am ready to finish this up. Okay, so I'm going to use my magical crimping plier here, and it's going to push this out a little bit to fit it in, and that's okay. I'll pull it once I get my crimp tube really centered, like I just felt it go in the center. It really has to be in the center of that tool, and I'm going to pull this tight, and this is one of the reasons I love my soft flex wire, because there's so many pretty colors, and I really matched my color beautifully to the beads, so a little bit it will show, but it's really pretty when it shows. So I've pinched the 4 corners of a tube essentially, and I'm going to now fit my tool back in the opposite direction. Before you close down, it's really important to make sure you feel that you're in the center in the opposite direction, otherwise you just mangle this. Okay, it just went in. Now I can close in that direction, and now I'm just going to open and close the tool and rotate my work a little bit. Okay, so it looks like that. I have my little bead, and I love my scraps of this wire because I love to make ring components and earrings with my wire, and that is literally the perfect amount. So these little tails go in my scrap bag. This is absolutely gorgeous from beginning to end. I could not love this anymore. Okay, I have a little scrap of chain here, and I'm going to put the chain on this first end with double jump rings, and I'm upping my game a little bit here because I really love this bracelet and I think it's going to get worn a lot. So I pulled out some gold-filled jump rings. And I'm just going to do double here. I never open my jump rings wide enough, but I'm going to do double jump rings on the last link of this scrap of chain. And this is solid brass embossed, gold-plated and e-coated jewelry chain that I had from a bead show. And I always link that company. It's a father and son business called Purity Beads. And Stella gets really beautiful chain on her website too. I always check her chain when I'm purchasing beads to see if I want to add in any chain. She's always looking for the solid brass as well. So I'm just going to do double jump rings. It's mostly for looks, but it does add a little strength. So it looks like that. And on the end of the chain, I'm going to do this little dangle. I got this really fancy head pin from my stash and another one of the metal beads, and this little disc left over from one of the Didi's Deluxe bead boxes. And I mean, she had these on her website. I went back and ordered extras. I don't know if they're still there, but I did order extras of those. So I'm gonna just do, I think I'm gonna do a wire wrapped loop here, just to keep everything safe. This head pin has got a little bit of a fine gauge to it, so I'm gonna go ahead and wire wrap my loop here. First little charm done, and I'm going to get a little scrap of 26 gauge wire. This was left over from a video that I just finished, and that is way more than I will need. I'm going to take about half of this little scrap. You could do 24, even 22, but I had this and it works really well for this. So I'm going to just let that little leaf go down to the middle of that wire, and I'm going to bring it up and hug the top of the leaf with the wire. I use my, let me clean up some of these tools. I use my pliers to get it like pinched together, centered on the leaf. And then I want to get these nice and straight, and I'm going to take a pair of nylon jaw pliers and just put a twist in here. So I'm just holding gentle pressure here and gently pulling in this direction with my right hand as I twist, and gently pull with my left hand. And I'm just going to twist this whole length so that I have a good length for a wire wrap. That is way more than I will need. I'll go ahead and trim that off. And I'm just going to stack another one of those discs right on top of that, and a blue crystal, just for a little kind of foliage look. And I'm going to treat that twisted wire just as if it were a single wire and do a wire wrapped loop in here. So 90-degree bend. Get my pliers in there and just wire wrap that twisted wire. That is so sweet. Love it. Okay, this stunning, stunning, stunning garden party bracelet is done. Let me move my natural bracelets up. Look at this bracelet, you guys. I love it so much. So I wanted to have the extender chain because I like the drama of the dangle, but I also find this type of bracelet really easy to put on. So I lay that extender chain across my wrist and then come around with my lobster claw clasp, and it can clasp anywhere on that chain. I wanted some dangle, so I have an extra couple of links, but I have my little charm there, and look at this. Isn't it stunning? No two sections of this bracelet are alike, and it just goes from single to double. It's textural, like the way that I strung the leaves, separating the two strands, and it's dimensional. And if it flips around my little birdhouse, I have a little decorative strand behind the birdhouse. And I just love popping those crystals in with Stella's crystals that she added in for us, and it's just absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So like I said, if you're interested in this box, don't wait. We don't have a huge quantity of them. It is limited edition, and you can't get this anywhere else. So if you love Vicky's bead, yeah, don't wait. And I thank you all so much for watching. I will be back with another, at least one more video with a design with this box, because I have almost the whole box left over. And I really want to do something with those gorgeous lampwork lentil beads. So I'll be back with at least that, maybe more. I'm very inspired, so there could be more. But I was really excited about this bracelet, and I was so focused on getting this made today. So I thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to tap more under this video title to reveal my description box that has all the links to Didi Beads. And I do have a discount code for Didi Beads if you are a new customer. It does not work on this collaboration box or her deluxe box, but it works on about 80% of the website. So, you know, that will be in the description box. And you guys, my boxes are full of information with tools and links to the things that I've added into a project. So you you always have to hit more a second time to reveal the entire box. So don't forget to do that. It'll save you some time if you're looking for things for your own projects. And I hope you're all safe and well and having fun on your beading mats. See you in the next video. Aren't you cute? You're a little baby. Oh, hi, baby. Oh, you're so precious. You're so precious. Hi, little guy. Hi, little guy. Have a nice day, beautiful.